It's Rowan here. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season with their loved ones. We are in 2020 right now. It's 11 days into January, so we've been in the new year, but I haven't been able to produce a video for everybody until now. I hope the new year has started out great for you all. This video is going to be all about our Disney trip, or my Disney trip that I took in December. I'm super excited to be here and to talk to all of you again. It has been a while. So this video is probably going to be a very long one. I kind of wanted to make this an organized video, so I do have some notes written down because I don't want it to be like all over the place. If you're a loyal Damsel fan, you'll just watch the entire video through because there is a lot of amazing things that I'm going to be talking about today. In general, going to Disney World is such an amazing experience. The planning parts, the waiting parts, finally getting there, actually experiencing what you've been dreaming about. The only part I don't like about Disney is that you have to leave it, but it's okay because then you get to plan another trip. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the vlogging aspect of the trip. So I did say that I was not going to be vlogging on this trip, and that is true. I did not vlog. I did not take a camera with me. I didn't talk to the camera or anything. I didn't film anything, but I did capture the trip on my phone. So if you are following me on Instagram, which by the way, I have changed my username. So my personal Instagram used to be called Sophie's Mama 426. It is no longer Sophie's Mama. I am still Sophie's Mama, but not on Instagram, I guess. So I changed my name to Damsel Rowan. So if you guys are looking for me on there, I will leave the correct link now since it is no longer Sophie's Mama. It is Damsel Rowan. So on Instagram, I kind of went to Disney with you all because I captured everything on my phone. I would take out my phone and kind of show you guys where I am. I would all the time, at the end of each day, kind of just like put my phone up and talk to everybody about what has happened that day. So if you are interested and if you aren't following me on Instagram and you want to know what happened during my Disney trip, besides me talking about it, I would definitely go to my highlights on my Instagram. It is called Disney World. I would start with the left, all the way to the left, Disney World, and then work your way through because I literally take you from day 1 to day 10 through the entire trip. Like I said, I would film where I was, I would film certain rides, I would film certain character meet and greets, when we were at dinner or breakfast, when we were doing a character meal, the food that we ate, the complaints that I had, which were few. There weren't a lot of complaints, but there were complaints. Yeah, so if you're interested in seeing that, definitely go ahead and head to my Instagram and you can see everything. So the no vlogging aspect honestly was amazing. I love just being able to be in the moment and not worry about, oh my god, I gotta take out my camera and film this. It was so much easier to do it through Instagram story because my phone is already in my hand and I'm already taking pictures. So all I really had to do was just press a button and film everything in front of me. So I felt like that was a lot easier, and it was also a lot more fun because I was conversing with everybody as the trip was going on. When you're vlogging, you're kind of keeping it a secret because obviously no one is looking at it. You still have to edit it and put it out on YouTube. So this was like a great way for me to kind of share what I was doing and what I was going through and what I was seeing. And like, I would get so many responses back like, oh my god, I love this ride, or thank you Rowan so much for like taking us to Disney. And like, it really meant a lot to me that I was able to share it with you guys and still enjoy it with my family. So the non-vlogging was great, but I still enjoyed sharing Disney with you guys through the Instagram story. So let's talk about the resort that I stayed in. I had a lot to say about this resort, let me tell you. If you're following me on Instagram and you saw my stories, you know exactly what I'm about to say. So we stayed in the Art of Animation Resort. The resort in itself, when I first walked in, was just wow. Like, the design, or the team that designed this resort and like brought everything to life was absolutely amazing. There is the animation hall where you walk in and that's where you check in, and then there's a gift shop there as well. And then if you walk further down, there is the restaurant, which I think is called Islands of Flavor. I think that's what it's called. If not, I will put the correct term. I completely forgot. But that was an amazing restaurant as well. Just like, you know, it had everything, honestly. It had salads, it had burgers, fries, mac and cheese, turkey. I loved the power salad there. It was so, so good. That's definitely something if you want to do like something a little bit more healthier, but the power salad was my go-to quick service meal when I was going to eat there. There's also a Little Mermaid cupcake that I love. The Art of Animation Resort is basically broken up into 4 sections. So there is the Cars section, the Finding Nemo section, the Lion King section, and the Little Mermaid section, which is what we were staying in. And we actually asked to stay in the Little Mermaid section because it was a standard room. Everything else was suite. So obviously it didn't make any sense for 3 people to stay in a suite. It just did not make any sense money-wise. So that's why we wanted to stay in the Little Mermaid section. And also we love the Little Mermaid, so obviously we would love to stay in a Little Mermaid room. Throughout the entire resort, there are statues of Disney characters from those movies. So there's like a really big Crush statue. There's a Rafiki. You see Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba walking along that tree where Simba's like a little tiny cub, but then he turns into a grown lion. There was Zazu hanging out there. We saw King Triton. We saw Ursula, Ariel. There was like a Dingle Hopper, the statue of Eric. There were like so many amazing photo opportunities in that resort. Like I would definitely recommend visiting that resort if you're ever down in the Disney World area. It was just so beautiful. Just like walking around it was an adventure in itself. I kind of want to talk about what I felt about this resort. So, okay. It's a beautiful resort. I think it's absolutely stunning, but there is a but. I would never recommend someone staying in the Little Mermaid section. It just wasn't worth it to me, especially if you have little kids. So for Sophie, we did not travel with a stroller. We just rented a stroller from the parks every day, so you just pay a one-time fee. I know I'm kind of like going off into a tangent, but you'll understand why. So you pay a one-time fee, and then every time you go into the park, you just pick it up from the stroller rental place and you show them your receipt and they'll give you one, and then you just return it at the end of the day. It just made more sense for us. And I think we only paid I think it was like about $120 for 10 days, so renting the stroller every day for the 10 days that we were there. So obviously when we returned the stroller at the end of the park day, and then we would get on the bus and come back to our resort, walking from Animation Hall all the way back to our room was a very big feat for Sophie. Like I felt very bad for her because I feel like it's a long walk for an adult. Imagine asking a 4-year-old to walk that amount. It's too much. And I actually timed how much it was to walk from the bus depot all the way to our room, and it was a 10-minute walk. So can you imagine every day after coming home from the parks, you're exhausted, you've been walking all day in the parks, having to have to walk another 10 minutes to get to our room was definitely something I was not happy about. I did get used to it. The first couple of times though, I was kind of annoyed, but then I just kind of got used to it, and I kind of told myself like, you're in Disney, you're in a Disney hotel, just get over it. But for next time, I know not to stay in the Little Mermaid section. The Little Mermaid section does have 3 buildings. So there is a Triton building where Triton is standing in front of it. There's an Ursula building where Ursula is standing in front of it, and then Ariel's all the way in the back. We were in the Ariel building, and our room was like all the way, like I am not kidding you guys, like we could see the parking lot, we can see the Skyliner, which I will be talking about, but it was like, it just felt like they literally put us all the way at the ends of the earth and just like stuck us there. So that's definitely something that I did not like. I would have preferred if we had asked for another room, but it was just too late at that point, so I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but that was something that was really troubling for us in the beginning. I also do want to talk about their room service. Again, I did talk about this in my Instagram story, and some of you might think that I'm being like annoying and like, I don't know, stuck up or something, but it's just an experience that I had, so I wanted to talk about it. When I stayed in the French Quarter, we did experience this as well in the French Quarter, so maybe this is just a thing that happens. Basically, when you leave the room, obviously room service does come to your room and they make it up, they give you towels and all of that stuff. So usually there is a time frame where they can come into your room. I think it's from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. For us, when we started our days, we would leave the room at like 7 a.m. and come back around like 2 p.m. So most of the time, I guess because we were in the back of the resort, when we came back, our room was not made up. Unless I called the front desk the morning of before we left the room and I told them, hi, we're gonna be out in the park from 8 to 2 if it's okay for someone to come during that time frame, because we are gonna be in the room at 2 and obviously someone can't come and clean it if we're in the room. If you are someone like me who does not stay in the parks all day long because it is exhausting, especially with a 4-year-old, I would definitely recommend calling housekeeping and just letting them know when you're gonna be out of the room. They will put in that request and they will come in for you. I did it every single day that I was there, so our room was cleaned by the time we came back, which Disney is great with. But the one time that I did not call, I did not get my room cleaned. So it's just something to watch out for and something to keep in mind. Also, if you're someone who doesn't care about your room being cleaned, they do have a promotion that they ask you about when you first get into the resort. When you first check in, and they tell you if you do not want your room cleaned, we can give you an $80 Disney gift card. I was not doing that because I did not want to clean on my vacation. I didn't want to think about that. I just really wanted to get out of the room as fast as possible so I could spend it in the parks and come back to a clean room. Everyone is different. Please don't give me hate for that, because some of my friends did say, like, why didn't you just take the gift card? Like, all you really have to do is like make up the bed and like ask them for towels and they'll take out the garbage if you call. But I just didn't want to think about it. So that's my, I guess, spiel on that. Other than that though, the resort was amazing. I had an amazing experience staying there. I probably will not stay there again because, again, unless I'm going with like a really big family and a lot of friends, I would stay in one of the suites that is closer to the animation hall and the bus depot, which is actually the Finding Nemo section and the Cars section. That's really the one that is like right next to the bus depot and like the restaurant. Lion King is a little further down and Little Mermaid, like I said, is all the way in the back. So that's just something for you guys to think about if you're thinking of staying in Art of Animation. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about the weather there when I was there. So I went from December 26th to January 4th. So I was very nervous because Karen, my friend, had went in November and she warned me about the weather being very weird and odd in Florida during that time. She had packed like shorts and tank tops and t-shirts, and then she ended up having to buy clothes because it was cold. So I was kind of like, what am I supposed to pack? Is it gonna be cold? Is it gonna be hot? So I actually experienced everything. I experienced a lot of rainy weather. The first 4 days we were there, it was miserable because it was raining. We had to have ponchos on. It's not really the rain that bothered me. It was more about like having to make sure like our outfits were secure, like with the poncho, opening up that umbrella, walking around the park, and then like getting into a ride and then coming out in the rain. Like it wasn't great. I loved it because I was in Disney obviously, and I would rather spend a rainy day in Disney than a sunny day anywhere else, but that definitely put a damper on our spirits. My husband actually did get sick because of that, because he was getting wet and then we would go off into the AC. It didn't sit well with him, so he did end up getting sick. And then as the week went on, we had a lot of sun. It was like nice and breezy. There were days where it was like 50, 60, like it wasn't cold, it wasn't hot, it was like just perfect. Those were the days that I really loved. And then towards the end of our trip, it got very hot and very humid. The day before we left, it got up to I think 85 degrees and the sun was on us. I was sweating. It wasn't like crazy summer sweat, but it did get hot. I really experienced everything. So I guess what I'm saying is in Florida, you can expect anything. You can expect rain, you can expect shine, you can expect humidity, you can expect cold. It really depends on what the weather felt like that day. So obviously I have mentioned that I had Sophie with me, a 4-year-old 4-year-old girl with me, my daughter. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about her and her behavior, because I do know that some of you that are watching do have kids, and you might have wondered like how a child can handle Disney. I do have to say, and I'm being completely honest, the first couple of days were kind of, I was being tested with my patience with Sophie's behavior, because she would, I cannot even explain it, but there were things that would happen and she would cry about it, and it was too much for me. Like, I literally would turn to my husband and be like, you're handling this meltdown because I'm done. Like, I can't do it. I don't know what it is exactly that would upset her. I really don't remember. I didn't write it down, but in the beginning of the trip, we did kind of have to have a talk with her. She wasn't always on her best behavior. I guess because it was a different environment. We were waking up very early. We were spending like several hours in a theme park. But as the trip went on, her behavior did improve, and it was a lot better for all of us. Like, we were all having fun. I honestly think that she enjoyed it most of the time, because every time we would pass that, come back from that bus depot, we would have to go through the gift shop to get to our room. Most of the time she would stop and like be like, can I get this? Can I get that? Which is honestly, she's a child, so it makes, I mean, I do that. I would literally stop and look at something and be like, oh, I really want that. So that was honestly one of the things I remember, is that like every time we would come out of the bus and we would go through the gift shop, she would stop and be like, can I get this? Can I get this? And obviously we can't get her everything she wants. That's not how life works. So there were some tantrums that were done, but then like I think she got used to it. Like every time we'd walk through the resort, she would see like, okay, I can stop by and look at it and not buy it. Like I said, the walking was a little bit too much on her, I felt, during the trip. I've had like horrible experiences with shoes when I'm in Disney World, and I would get like blisters and I'd be like, oh my god, it was like a bad experience. Every Disney trip that I've been on besides this one, I learned my lesson this time, so I didn't wear new shoes. I would get blisters, but this time around Sophie's the one that got blisters. So on the second day, we had to buy her new shoes. So that was, but thank God we did it like early on, because I feel like if it had happened later on in the trip, it would have just been like worse. So we did catch it early on, and we did buy her comfortable princess Crocs, which we got from the Grand Floridian gift shop, and she was fine then. So that was really the only mishap with her, I guess, was like her feet hurting her and getting blisters on the second day, but she was fine after that. Another thing that Sophie really liked to do was she loved talking to guests, just like random guests that either were staying in our resort. When we were like on the bus, she would literally sit next to someone and just talk to them. Most of the time it was great, but like I started feeling bad, because like sometimes it would be like at the end of the day and like she would talk to someone, like I could tell like they were tired and they didn't want to really speak to anybody, and like she would talk to them and I'd kind of be like, Sophie, like just talk to me, you can talk to me. But like she's a very people person. If you guys ever met her in person, like she loves to talk to people just about everything and anything. She always had like a toy with her in her hand, so she would like start a conversation with the toy in her hand. And like that was something that I noticed about her. Like she just really loved talking to people, and I think it's because she's an only child and like she doesn't really have a sibling to play with, so she loves like playing with other kids that are her age or even older in the resort. So it's funny because when I did the planning portion video of this trip, which by the way I still think I did a horrible job on, because it was like so last minute, I didn't have everything that I needed. In that video I was like, I told you guys, I was like, I'm not really sure about the outfits I made for this trip. It's not gonna be like crazy or anything. And then like I go on the trip and I'm getting like tons and tons of compliments about the outfits that I had made. I had the best time like wearing these outfits. Some of them were last minute. I literally just like looked at what I had and I'd be like, you know what, I think I'm gonna put this on. There are certain outfits that I do want to talk about, and I will share photos of them over here. And then again, if you want to see my outfits for Disney, you can go on my Instagram. Every day I literally put up a new photo, and literally the moment I stepped out of the room, I would turn to my husband, I'm like, you gotta get an outfit photo for today because everybody's expecting to see it. So that was like really fun for me. I had a lot of fun with these looks. So one of my favorites that I wore was the Beauty and the Beast outfit. So I did make 2 Beauty and the Beast outfits. The first one I wore earlier on in the trip. I had overalls on. I had a yellow shirt, like a off the shoulder shirt on with like roses on it. I was carrying a Beast backpack and I had my Imagine X Beauty and the Beast ears. Believe it or not, this outfit was last minute. I had just thrown that in my suitcase and I was like, if I want to put these on, I'll figure it out. It was a last minute outfit. I wore it in Magic Kingdom. I got so many compliments on it and I got so many compliments on it from you guys. So thank you so much, by the way, for like always commenting and just like making me feel like, I don't know, like I'm like a fashionista when I'm not. I truly am not. I'm pretending to be one. Also, the other Beauty and the Beast outfit that I had on is the blue dress and the rose on the side. I had See You Real Soon ears, Beauty and the Beast ears on, and I was holding my Beast clutch where he looks miserable. That night I had went to Be Our Guest, the restaurant, and the waiter, when he saw my outfit, he kept calling me like princess. He was like, you look amazing, like I can totally tell why you wore this outfit and like I appreciate it. And I was like, thank you so much. Like I feel like when you dress up in Disney, it's like a whole different dressing up. Do you guys get that? Because a lot of people, and I get it, I mean it's a theme park at the end of the day. Like a lot of people are wearing shorts, they're wearing tank tops, t-shirts, and obviously that makes a lot of sense. I am honestly so extra when it comes to being in Disney, so I get it. But I don't know, like I just don't see like I feel like if I'm in Disney World, I have to wear certain outfits. I have to wear themed outfits or like it just won't be as special. I don't know why. That's just the way that I feel. Another outfit that I really liked was my alien outfit. So I had like an alien dress on from Cakeworthy. I had bought a Hot Topic Luxo ball bag and I had alien ears on. It was just great. I took pictures like around the Toy Story land. So that was another one that I really loved. Buzz really appreciated my outfit. I did meet him. We have to talk about my nod to Kylo Ren. I had a Kylo Ren outfit, which I did share with you guys in that outfit planning video. I got to wear it. It was amazing. I was feeling myself that day walking through Batuu and everyone's eyes kind of like looking at me like, girl, what are you doing? Who do you think you are? And I'm just like, I am Rowan. I am extra. Like this is who I am. So I did get quite a few stares on my trip, and I mean again it makes sense. I'm wearing things that not normal, but like normally people would not be wearing unless it's like a special occasion. But this was my Disney trip, so it was a special occasion for me. Also, my Cinderella outfit, I didn't share this dress with you guys on my outfit planning video because I did order it after the fact. And I got it from Shein. It's like this blue, light blue dress, has like flowers on it. I was going for a Cinderella look. It worked. Like, let me tell you, it worked. I felt like a princess. The ears that I had on from Main Street Marvels, which by the way, Main Street Marvels was amazing. They got the ears to me on time. I had placed that order like not even a week before my Disney trip and they got my ears to me. So a nod to Main Street Marvels. I will put their link down below. They did amazing with that. And then last but not least, let's talk about my outfit that I had on for my photo shoots, which I will be talking a bit about that in a second. But I had on that purple and yellow dress. Again, I looked super extra. I saw the stairs. Honestly, again, it was an amazing experience being able to take professional photos in front of the castle and like around Magic Kingdom. It was just an amazing experience. That was definitely one of my favorite outfits as well that I put together. I can make a separate video about outfits in Disney and like how I go through the process. I have done it before, but that was with tutu skirts, which by the way, I only wore a tutu once during this trip. And it was the first day that we were in the parks, and then after that it was just dresses. My style has kind of changed a little bit, so if you guys want me to do a video on that, I would be so glad to make it for you. I just don't want to take too much time up during this video, but I did want to go through like the different outfits that I had worn because I was really proud of them and I really liked showing you guys my style. So during our stay, we did have the dining plan, and we had the Disney dining plan, which is where you get 1 sit-down meal, 1 quick service meal, and 2 snacks a day. So next time moving forward when we go to Disney World, I probably will not be doing the Disney dining plan anymore, only because I felt like we were left over with so many snacks and so many quick service meals, and I don't know why, because we were there for 10 days. We did use up all our sit-down meals, which was great, but for some reason we were left over with 5 quick service and 21 snacks. So I think the reason why we had so much left over was because Sophie was on the plan as well, and Sophie got snacks, and she didn't really eat, or she didn't need that many snacks a day, I guess. I really don't know what happened. Next time I think I'm just gonna budget myself on food in Disney, and I will just be paying either cash or credit. I don't think the Disney dining plan is something that I will be doing. I do think that it's very beneficial for people because you're not paying. You don't have to think about paying at that moment. It's already paid for. So yeah, so that's something that happened on the trip. I had to literally buy a bunch of like Disney snacks from the gift shop using our snack credits because there was just too much snacks left over. I want to talk a little bit about highlights. So highlights of the trip, things that were very memorable for me